What's going on, guys? So recently you guys know that we just got done doing a first ride on the Multistrada and the BMW S1000 XR. So today Brian and I are out doing a versus video. I'm on the Multistrada 1260s. Brian's over here on the BMW S1000 XR. We're gonna see which one of these bikes we prefer after riding them around the city streets like you see here. Let's do it.
So guys, this video is actually sponsored by Ride Apparel, the people that are making this hoodie and this shirt. If you guys don't know, Ride Apparel is my friend and I's motorcycle apparel company. We stand for something very specific. Positive riding, positive vibes, and a positive life. So at Ride Apparel, we are trying to push this positivity mindset through our motorcycle community, and we are launching, or currently have launched, our 2020 fall collection. Due to the way the world is in 2020, we're actually only going to drop one collection this year, and it is this shirt. Can you guys see the shimmery gold? Look at this shimmery gold. We're calling this Flagship 2.0. This is what our first shirts ever look like, and they did really well. So we're doing a gold hoodie, and we have a silver shirt. Looks like this. It's super soft, it's super high quality stuff. If you guys want to grab anything from Ride Apparel, it's only going to be available from November 25th through November 29th. After that, pre-orders are shut down and you cannot get this stuff anymore. So, if you're interested in getting it and supporting our small little motorcycle apparel company, there will be a link down in the description. It'll say sponsored by Ride Apparel, because I don't have to pay myself from the ad spot. Get it? It works out. Hope you guys enjoy the versus video, and check out Ride Apparel if you're interested in it. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get to the video.
Mr. B, we've now ridden a 2020 Ducati Multistrada 1260P or S. S, thank you.
No P.
No P. And then we've ridden a 2018 BMW S1000 XR. Both of these are low, like the lowered.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
so
specifically a low seat model
the
machine.
Multistrada is also at its lower seat setting. Both bikes are kind of in a, do you want to call them touring segment?
It can fit into your touring style of motorcycle. Yes.
So both these bikes are mostly made for on-road use, specifically the BMW. That thing has no use going anywhere off-road.
No.
Let's talk about the transmissions.
That was something that stood out for you.
Yes, transmission is probably the biggest deal for me, and why I would choose the Multistrada, because there is a very, very tactile feel. When you shift the gears, both of these bikes, so you guys understand, have up and down quick shifters. So once you start going, especially if you're on the highway, you never touch the clutch. There's no reason for that. The way the bikes feel when you shift is totally different.
Yes.
So the BMW is more of a very light push up, and you get this very light hit, and then the bike shifts.
Yes.
It feels very electronic, very easy to do, very computer driven. Whereas on the Multistrada, you feel like you're punching a robot in the face.
It feels a much more mechanical. When you change gears, it translates to the whole chassis.
When you shift gears in the Multistrada, if you're getting on it, like that whole bike will shake a little bit. I don't know if it's because when my brain is on that Multistrada, I want that you know what I mean? Like I want that whole bike shifting.
Yeah, not me.
To give you guys the best example of how I feel on the BMW, when I shift, I feel like I'm sending a request to a computer to be like, "Hi, sir. Could you do you mind shifting the bike for me? Oh, you do? It's been accepted?
You make it sound like it takes a long time, though.
No. It is so blisteringly fast.
So lightning fast shifts. The chassis doesn't have a chance to get upset. The transmission on the BMW is fantastic.
It is efficient. I find myself, even on both of these bikes, when I rode them, I still like clutching from first to second. I don't know because in the past I've had bikes that have upshifts or quick shifters, and they get hung up in neutral sometimes. If I'm not giving it beans, if you're just riding it
like a normal human being, instead of trying to,
I do have a hard time doing that.
Instead of trying to rip the tire off of the rear
Yeah, if you want an efficient motorcycle, transmission-wise, the BMW is the way to go. But that's not what I want when I'm on these bikes. I want to feel like I'm
The
riding.
Ducati's a little bit more visceral when it
is.
comes to the transmission.
100%. Efficiency-wise, go to the BMW. But otherwise, if you want this real mechanical feel, Ducati's, the Multistrada is where you're looking at. Moving on, let's talk about power delivery. Again, these bikes are in the same class, could not be different when it comes to power delivery.
Absolutely. In my perspective, my opinion on the situation is, sport bike riders over time transition into a sport touring machine.
I
because
100% agree
that's
with
the
that.
type of riding that they like to do.
Right. Which is
Where-
why the BMW XR is a really good bike for that, because
It still gives you that sport bike feel,
Right.
but you're comfortable enough to be on it all day long.
so for you guys that don't know, you probably know if you're watching this video, but the BMW S1000 XR is literally the S1000 XR's power plant.
It makes a little less horsepower.
Yeah, so that's the main difference between the XR and the RR. The XR, for me, is a super sport with a dress on. The way the power is delivered, very super sporty. You have to fight for it up front. Granted, not as much as you will with a super sport, but when you are in the rev range, you are a rocket going at full speed. Versus the power delivery on the Multistrada, that thing will
It's
yank around.
immediate.
Right.
But here's the thing between the two. The Multistrada, because of the way the power is delivered, the gear ratios in the transmission need to be very short.
Right. So it's a lot of shifting.
So there is a lot more shifting involved
Mm-hmm.
on the Multistrada than there would be on something like the XR.
So my
Which
thought
is one of the
process-
other reasons why I like it for a
Right.
touring machine is
Right.
because if you're around town and you're kind of just cruising through, 40-mile-per-hour roads, you can kind of just hang out in third gear all day.
The thing I like about the power on the Multistrada for a touring bike is if I'm on the highway, dude, I've got cruise control on, I'm in 6th gear, and I'm just cruising. I ain't touching nothing, I'm taking a nap. When you get the Multistrada in town, you now have this twin style power plant where you can have a really good time. You got that red light to red light power. Power delivery, you prefer the BMW.
For this style of riding.
Yeah, for this style of riding that bike is for, that inline 4 kind of
Silky smooth, quiet, very predictable.
so that's what you prefer, power delivery. Obviously, I prefer the Multistrada, but
Just for touring, though.
this whole conversation
Yes.
is touring bikes for touring's sake. Moving on, let's talk about suspension. I feel like both bikes are, obviously we're talking about more expensive motorcycles, we're talking about really good parts. I hate to be Multistrada fanboy, but the 1260s has Skyhook technology, which is basically the motorcycle electronically changes the suspension to keep you horizontal.
To keep the saddle of the motorcycle as
Yes.
placed. I mean,
Yes.
everything moves around the saddle. It's pretty fantastic.
If you have never ridden with it, it's strange because as somebody that's ridden for a while, when you throttle up or when you hard brake, you instinctively, like your back tightens up and your arms
You
push
brace.
you instinctively brace. Y'all,
You don't
if
need to.
You guys don't understand. When we were riding around, I was yanking on the brake.
Yes.
And you don't go anywhere.
No,
It
you
is-
just sit where you're at.
It's strange and beautiful, and I love it.
So that is a super fantastic touring feature
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're back to the touring thing.
because you're not going to be tired from having to brace yourself from acceleration and braking. That suspension gobbles all that stuff up, and you don't take the vibration.
I noticed that.
It is really nice. I can't say anything bad about the suspension on the Multistrada. It is a very, very nice machine to ride.
Both of these bikes, the suspension is fully electronic, and you can change it relatively easily inside the screen. I tried multiple modes on the BMW, and I felt that suspension was far too hard in every setting I tried it on. There was times where I'm riding the BMW, even on the highway, there's a specific spot where it kind of drops down.
A little dip in the...
Yeah, I could feel that all the way up my back. Not only do I prefer the Multistrada's suspension, I dislike the BMW suspension because of how hard it is.
So weird how you put it that way, because I think of it in exactly the opposite perspective.
How do you see?
I want the suspension of the bike to have some stiffness to it. I want to, while I'm riding my bike, still look and hunt for road imperfections and know when I need to take my butt out of the saddle a little bit so I don't get the shot up my spine.
Right.
That's part of riding for me, is doing all those things. When you're on a Multistrada, you could literally take a nap. I don't like that. For me, I prefer the suspension on the BMW for those reasons, that it is quite a bit firmer.
A lot of it firmer.
Than the Multistrada is. And there are those things in the Multistrada that make it really, really nice to ride, how soft it is, that I don't like. If you try and throw that bike around a little bit more, you try and manhandle that thing, it gets very upset. The front end gets wishy-washy, and you get a little bit of shake. It corrects it very quickly. It's a pretty fantastic bike. Almost anybody can ride it as long as you can touch the ground and handle the weight. But the BMW gives you more of that sporty feel, where it does what you want it to, and it does exactly what you want it to, and it's very predictable in what it's going to do.
From that, we can jump to the handlebar feel. Handlebar feel, like you were just mentioning, with the Multistrada, it is feather light. You move that front wheel around and you're on this heavy, big motorcycle, and somehow the front handlebars feel like it's just floating in the air.
Feels like a dirt bike.
Versus you go on the BMW, you got some weight, you got some stability in those handlebars, and it doesn't go anywhere. I love the shit out of having a super light handlebar, and I would do that stupid thing in town where I stay in my lane, but I'm just like wiggling back and forth. I think that shit's hilarious, and the fact that I can do that on a bike as big of a Multistrada is insane. You go over to the BMW.
Now, I did those same things that you were doing on the Multi on the Beam.
You can do them on both, but
it takes more input.
Way more input.
So the bike is just as nimble. It just takes more input to make it happen. I want that in my handlebars. I want a little bit of weight. It helps me feel more connected to the road. It feels more stable, more confidence inspiring to me to have a little bit of weight in handlebars.
I will not disagree that, like, when you're coming into that big turn on the first ride route, when you lay the BMW over, you're pushing that bike into that turn.
But there's very little correction.
Position. Right. So
once you find the angle, there's almost no correction.
You're on it. So I will totally agree that Multistrada, when you lean it over, you're wiggling over, but it does eventually settle. And when it settles, you're like on a couch, just sliding through a turn. It's phenomenal.
You correct in a turn on a Multistrada, and it's going to make your butt pucker.
I like that kind of like unpredictable, gross amount.
It's so funny.
I don't know why.
I can't wait for you to ride my 210.
So handlebar feel. You're going to be very precise with a BMW. It's going to be heavier. With the Multistrada, it's going to be a lot lighter. It's going to be kind of less surgical, but I enjoy that. You enjoy the BMW. So it is what it is.
So the one other thing that we need to mention when we're talking about handlebar feel is how bad the handlebars vibrate on the BMW.
Yeah, the BMW does vibrate.
So it has that vibration resonance, that once the engine hits a certain RPM, that you get the vibration of the engine through the handlebars.
I don't want to act like the Multistrada is perfect and never vibrates. It totally does. The screen will like shake a lot if you're in that right spot.
The resonance of the vibration on the Multi is a much lower frequency. It doesn't feel buzzy, it just feels a little shaky.
Moving on, let's talk about braking. I don't honestly think I had any strong feelings one way or the other.
Both machines had amazing brake systems.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
Full-on ABS. I don't know if you tried it on both bikes, but I stood on the rear brake of both machines with the clutch pulled in to see how the ABS would react. On the Multistrada, the ABS, you could feel the brake pedal pulsing back at you. On the BMW, you can't.
You saying that reminded me, both bikes have phenomenal braking. If you come into it not realizing what level of braking these bikes can do, you are going to be shocked. This is one of the few things that I think the BMW does stand over the Multistrada.
The BMW's ABS system is so much further advanced than any other motorcycle manufacturer's ABS system that it works just that much better.
I think this might be the one topic that I can be like, you know what? Yeah, BMW, 100%.
The brakes got it.
Like, I love this multi, but like, I'm still gonna be honest. Like, I'm not like eyes glazed over or whatever. So, ergos. We're talking about these touring motorcycles. Ergos, super important. I don't think ergos were really a big topic for me.
They were very, very close. I really wouldn't be able to say, like, I can't ride this because of this.
Yeah, there was no distinguishable differences with the ergos. For me, the only slight difference was my legs, I believe, were a little tucked up more on the BMW, whereas on the Multistrada, I could flat foot both motorcycles, we were both shocked.
Well, I could tippy toe both motorcycles,
which is a huge deal. Even though the BMW is slightly more squunched up legs, we're talking marginal. You know, I'm just trying to figure out the differences. So ergos is kind of a moot point. Like, both bikes are really good, super comfortable. You know, you got straight arm situation. Final thing is the dash.
Hate the dash on the Beamer. It was too monochromatic.
No color screen.
Yeah, it's a black and or gray screen with gray background. If the sun hit it the right way, it would just be blank. The Ducati has full TFT,
full color TFT dash,
and you could change it from day mode to night mode, and you can change the brightness of the screen. And
the screen actually changes depending on the type of mode you're in as well, as far as like how it shows
how much
RPMs
information.
And stuff.
And then there's my issue with the Ducati screen is that there's just far too much information on the screen at all times.
I think technically I do prefer the Multistrada. If I was going to own one motorcycle, I'd pick the Multistrada if we're going to talk dashes. I think that the ideal is the BMW tack, because I love having that needle. You have a physical thing on the bike kind of going up with you. I want a tiny TFT dash where the BMW gray area is. And then I want it laid out super simple, because there is a lot of data you need, you know, especially if you have a motorcycle that gives you all that data. It is complicated on how do you artfully show that and not be overwhelming.
Right.
I think the BMW, it feels like the dash doesn't meet the price of the motorcycle. Like,
yes.
for
it feels old.
Yeah, for 20 grand, dude, I'm fine with the tack.
But then again, you really don't need to know any of that information all the time.
Not at all.
So
but
being that it's not on the screen keeps it very, very simple, which kind of dumbs it down, makes it look a little less expensive.
Yeah, but like, if you're paying 20 grand, like, you need TFT. We're at a technology point where TFT dashes are almost expected. And some of the ABS. ABS has trickled its way all the way down to where beginner bikes
have ABS.
ABS is standard.
Yeah.
So I think TFT is getting close to that point of like, come on, guys. So to finish it up, I think it's very obvious that you choose the BMW, right? In this versus video.
If I was choosing between those two touring machines, yes, I would pick the BMW.
And I think it's pretty obvious at this point as well. Multistrada, though the BMW has a few things better than it, as far as what I'm looking for in a touring bike between these two, that Multistrada is all day, every day. I don't think I would ever choose the BMW.
It's so cool that you and me could walk into a garage filled with motorcycles and not fight over the bike we wanted to ride.
Yeah, I know. It's so great.
You'd be like, I want this one. You'd be like, I don't want that one. I want that one.
Good, because I don't want anything to do with that. This is perfect. I'm so glad. I don't know. I'm very interested to do more of these versus videos with you.
Me too.
And guys, make sure to let us know in the comments if you guys enjoy these versus style videos. They're far easier for us to do than the huge comparisons we've tried to do in the past. We would like to do these a lot more often, so maybe next we do the MT10 versus 210, because it sounds like it's going to be the exact same. I'm interested to see.
We got to find somebody else's 200 to do, though.
Damn it. I'm very interested to see if this continues, though. We have agreed on everything, and we prefer nothing the same. So I'm very interested to try more of these verses to see if that continues, because it's obviously like...
No, I'm pretty sure we're going to find some issues where we both love the bike and we both hate the bike.
Well,
I'm sure that will happen, you know, at some point. As far as $20,000 sport touring machines go,
between the BMW
and
S1000 XR
and the Ducati Multistrada S1000XS, you're all day Ducati and I'm all day BMW.
I'm gonna take that multi, baby.
All right, guys, well, I think that's about it for us. Obviously, we're dealing with two high-level class motorcycles. So at the end of the day, you know, if anything, this video proved that motorcycles are a huge thing of preference per riders. Do you want that inline four buzzy situation with the BMW that's going to haul ass? Or do you like that L-twin feel that you can get on here on the Multistrada? You guys let us know if you like this style video, these little versus videos. Trust me and Brian would love to get out and ride more. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, we will gladly make more of it. Brian, thank you very much for riding around with us today. Massively appreciate that. And oh, this is not sketchy at all. What the fuck? $40,000 of motorcycle, no big deal. Oh my God. We're gonna see you guys on the next one if we don't wreck. Jesus Christ. Also, Outro Crew, don't forget, in your comments and down below, make sure to put OC. That way we know to love you long time for being in the Outro Crew. And don't forget to hit the like button. We'll see you on the next one. Hey Brian, guess what you don't have? Skyhook.